Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to a remote cattle ranch near Burns Lake, British Columbia, Canada. Much of the province has temperate rainforests, alpine meadows, and rocky coastlines. The region's climate is highly variable, with coastal areas experiencing mild, wet winters, and interior regions enduring cold, snowy conditions. This diversity in geography and climate supports a wide range of flora, including western red cedar, Douglas fir, hemlock, salal shrubs, salmonberry bushes, and wild huckleberries, all of which contribute to a thriving ecosystem that deer, elk, and moose enjoy. The predators that prowl these dark and shadowy forests include black bears, mountain lions, wolves, and grizzly bears. On September 12, 2005, 13-year-old Christopher Solecki was venturing into the woods near his family ranch. Accompanying Christopher was his 15-year-old brother Matt and the family dog named Snowpup. Like many young men, Christopher was active and adventurous and loved spending time outdoors. His family had chosen to live in British Columbia partly because of its natural beauty and abundant opportunities for recreation. He was a heralded member of his youth hockey team, often tending goal and helping his team to a victory. Given it is common knowledge that encounters with grizzly bears in British Columbia are a known hazard, both brothers packed bear spray, but the boys were not packing firearms. As Snowpup, Matt and Christopher had left their father John's worksite, they headed up a nearby trail toward evening time. The brothers chatted as Snowpup dashed ahead of them with the excited energy a dog gets when enjoying a walk with his favorite humans. The boys began to follow their dog up an incline when they were surprised to see Snowpup dashing back toward them. He looked terrified and was seeking shelter and protection from the boys, but what was behind the dog wasn't seeking anything but ridding itself of a nuisance. As Snowpup streaked past the brothers, they could hear a quick series of timber pops just a few yards ahead of them. A huge grizzly bear suddenly materialized from the brush, only a few yards from the boys. Standing at about 5 foot 10 inches tall, Matt stared as he realized the hump of muscle on the back of the grizzly was taller than him. As saplings whipped and parted, the grizzly bore down on the boys, too fast for them to even begin reaching for their bear spray. For some reason, the massive bear was drawn to the 5 foot 1 inch Christopher. In a blur, it clamped its jaws onto his thigh and threw him back and forth in a violent assault. The only thought Christopher later recalled, flashing through his mind, was, "Oh crap, I'm going to die." Being a caring brother, Christopher yelled, "Matt, run!" This snapped Matt back to reality. He knew he could do nothing to stop this bear from tearing his brother to ribbons, so he turned and sprinted back toward the shed where his father was. As Matt flitted across the ground, he could hear his brother's screams fade. The elder brother soon arrived at the shed and urged his father to leave the machinery on which he was working. John ordered Matt to get to the house to call for help before running to where Christopher was last seen. Panting as he arrived at Christopher's side, John was horrified to see a couple of 4-inch gashes torn in his son's scalp and blood covering his face. John hadn't even glanced around to see if the grizzly was nearby. He focused his attention on Christopher, who was conscious. Pictures of Christopher's wounds would not pass YouTube guidelines, so they are posted on our Patreon account linked below. They are grim, but illustrate just how much damage the bear did to the boy in the 10-second-long attack. John knew that his son's life hung in the balance and he had to get him help. He picked up Christopher and tried to carry him, but the hillside was too steep to keep his balance while doing so. John swung Christopher over his shoulder and scrambled down the slope. With each step, he could hear his son's femur bone grinding where it had been broken during the attack. While John and Christopher were making their way back to the house, Matt was on the phone. He called the police, the EMS services, the firehouse, and anyone else he thought he could get to come help. After several tense minutes, John and Christopher arrived at the home. A medical helicopter was soon on the scene, and immediate aid was given to Christopher before he was flown to Burns Lake Hospital alongside his mother, Cynthia. Christopher was stabilized at the same community hospital, but his injuries were too severe to be treated there. He was flown to Children's Hospital in Vancouver immediately afterward. Christopher was rushed into emergency surgery, where repairs were completed to his fractured femur. An egg-sized piece of his skull had been pressed into his brain, but no one was sure if the wound was a result of a bite, a swat, or the bear standing on the boy's head. Removal of the piece of skull was deemed too dangerous, so surgeons pieced things back together and sutured his scalp closed with 28 staples and hoped for the best after a 7-hour operation. Having seen injuries like these from car accidents, surgeons informed the family that the bone fragment would likely be reabsorbed by Christopher's body over time, saving him from experiencing the further trauma of a complicated surgery. The doctors planned a second brain surgery to take place in 6 months and observed Christopher for several days as he healed at the hospital. As for the bear, it was believed to be a mature boar grizzly. It didn't stalk the boys before the attack and didn't eat any portion of Christopher's body. Its behavior was deemed a defensive attack in response to the harassment of Snowpup. There was no report of a cached animal carcass nearby, and the grizzly was not acting in defense of cubs in the area. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to our episodes, and the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. The grizzly that attacked Christopher was not pursued and killed, and after an extensive rehabilitation period, Christopher rejoined his youth hockey team. British Columbia is home to approximately 15,000 grizzly bears, representing one of the largest populations in North America. The province also hosts between 120,000 and 150,000 black bears, making bear encounters a regular occurrence for those who venture into the wilderness. Despite these numbers, bear attacks on humans are relatively rare. Statistically, the chances of being attacked by a bear are less than 1 in a million for outdoor enthusiasts. However, certain factors increase the likelihood of an encounter. Activities such as hiking, camping, and hunting often place humans near bears, especially during the spring and fall, when bears are most active. Additionally, improper food storage and failure to follow bear safety protocols can inadvertently attract these animals. The presence of Snowpup, the Solecki's family dog, was a contributing factor in Christopher's attack. Christopher Solecki's survival story is a remarkable example of human resilience in the face of nature's raw power. While his encounter serves as a cautionary tale, it also underscores the need for coexistence between humans and wildlife. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Why do you think the bear chose to attack Christopher instead of Matt or Snowpup? Did Christopher get off lightly in comparison to other bear attack victims on this channel? Do you think John and his sons should hunt down that ill-tempered grizzly and put an end to him? I gotta admit, I'd be pretty tempted to kill him. I'll gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.